Hi everybody! Happy Saturday to you from my part of the world. It is Saturday, March 22nd, 2025, and welcome to my presentation for this round of our Global Inspiration Stamp Team All About Techniques session. I'm Maureen Rolfes, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. I come from Murfreesboro, Tennessee in the United States, and I am so glad to be here with you today. I hope you have been watching the presentations, and if you're anything like me, you have been amazed and been taking notes and can't wait to try some of these techniques. I think Ginny mentioned, we see these techniques, we think, oh, wow, and then we forget about them. We stick them in the back of our mind somewhere and we get into a routine. So I would suggest you use this as a resource. You are going to come back to this and you will see techniques over and over that we've done, and I hope you do them. Please, if you use any of the techniques we do today and you make a card, post it in this group so everyone can see it. We love inspiration too, and we would like to see what you did with what we showed you. Also, be sure to watch every presentation and be sure to comment. We love to hear from you. Hi, Shannon, glad you're on. We love to hear what you like about what we're doing. We love to hear if you have any questions, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. So please engage with us. That makes it all the more fun for us also. Let's get creating. Hi, Chrissy, glad you're catching me live. I am going to turn you around and take you down to my table. So, well, maybe not. That didn't even do what it was supposed to do. There we go. There's my outside. Exactly where I want to be. That doesn't always happen, but I'm hoping for the best. So the first thing I want to do is just show you what I'm going to be using on my project today. So the technique I chose is spotlighting, and I'm going to be using product out of the current mini catalog, not all of it, but I'm going to focus on this, and that is the beautiful Butterflies stamp set. Now this is on page 39 of the spring catalog. Interesting fact is I make notes in here when I use these for presentations, mainly for tax purposes, because I try to use everything I buy, as a demonstrator for tax purposes. But I noticed I used the same exact suite for my January presentation. So I guess that means I like butterflies, right? I do. I really like butterflies. So we're going to be using this stamp set. Fun fact, and I might have mentioned it in January, I have a daughter who hates butterflies. They give her the creeps, real life ones. She doesn't mind cutout ones, but real life ones just give her the creeps, which I don't understand. A note about this also is currently the Beautiful Butterflies Hybrid Embossing folder is not available. It is supposed to be back in stock, hopefully the week of April 7th. But the set is available, and that's all I'm using today. But just as a note, if you always get the bundles, that is currently not available, but should be back April 7th. I'm also using Memento Black ink today because that is my go-to ink when I use blends. And this is currently also not available. So you might have heard Angie mention earlier that the Versamark ink is not. I think they might be made by the same company, but this is not a Stampin' Up! Shortage. This is like a nationwide shortage. Most of the craft stores out there, Amazon, whatever, cannot get Memento Black right now or the Versamark. There is just a shortage of them. But according to our site, hopefully these will be back in stock on March 31st. So watch for that. I know they've had to bump that a couple times, so there's no guarantees. But hopefully that week this will be back. And hopefully you already have some, so you can duplicate my project. And if you're not using blends, you can use any black ink you have. All right, let's get going here. I do have a little recipe sheet that includes what I'm using and the sizes of it. So I will be kind of referring to this off and on, but I will be giving you these sizes also as we go. And here is that stamp set in person, just so you can see. We're just going to be using this one little butterfly and the hello out of here, but it is a great, great stamp set. And if you love butterflies, like me, it's a must-have. The other thing that I am using today is the Stylish Shapes dies. Now I already cut out, pre-cut, whoa, if I can scoot it around, one of those little circles, so you'll see that pre-cut. And then we're also going to be cutting in screen the smallest square from this. This is a fantastic die set. It has banner dies in several levels, squares in several layers, and circles. And I am so glad to say it is continuing on in the new catalog. So yay for that. They are not getting rid of it. So it is a must-have set. So we are going to do spotlighting. And look up spotlighting technique on Pinterest or just search on the internet. There are so many ways to spotlight on your cards. It's unbelievable. All spotlighting means is that you are directing your attention to one focal point of your image on your card. So usually it is just part of an image. It could be a full image if it's blended in with the background, and you'll see as we go what I'm talking about. I do want to ask you to stay with me till the end if you can, because I'm going to show you one example on our card, but you're going to see additional examples of how you can spotlight at the end of this video. So for my card, we are just going to start out with the actual spotlighting technique portion of it. I'm going to get rid of the rest of this for the moment. And I pre-stamped my butterflies for the front of my card because I'm going to color them with blends. And when you do that, you want to be sure that your Memento Black ink has completely dried. So this is a pretty quick coloring, guys. It shouldn't take me too long. I am going to start out with light peach pie ink and the brush end of it. And we are just going to quickly color in our butterflies completely with the light peach pie blend. So I'm not going to do a ton of coloring on here. I love shading with my blends, anything but just plain coloring. Any kind of image with blends is so quick and easy. They go on so smoothly. Oh, just love them. So they are also probably my go-to for just plain coloring, even if I'm not blending. Although I love watercoloring. I love our watercolor pencils. I love our markers. I love to color. How about you guys? What's your favorite coloring tool? Do you like watercoloring? Do you like the blends? Do you like the markers? Do you like the watercolor pencils or something else? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your favorite, but this is definitely blends are my favorite. Okay, so that's the main part of our image right there. I am going to come back in with dark pumpkin pie. And on this one, I'm going to use the bullet end. And I'm just going to add some dark pumpkin pie just kind of along the edge of the center of the body of this butterfly. Because I want to get just a little color on there without worrying about too much coloring or shading today. So we're just going to go kind of along there, up into the top a little bit. And the good thing with blends is they do blend together. You don't have to be too careful about it. As the ink sits and the day goes on, they blend even more. It is the alcohol in these markers that causes that blending to happen. And then I'm going to grab I use light pumpkin pie. I'm going to grab my, oh, did I grab the wrong one? Here it is. I got lots of different colors here. I'm going to grab my dark peach pie now and the brush end. And I'm just going to come in here and kind of blend in a circular motion where those two colors come together and then pull that out toward the edge of the body of my butterfly. That is how simple it is to blend a couple different colors onto your image. And you'll see as this sits how those colors just kind of pull together so beautifully. Now again, you could take a long time and color each section on here, but I really didn't feel it was necessary. I felt getting this little darkness in there, it just gave a lot of depth and dimension, and it was quick, and easy, and I am all about quick and easy and clean and simple, guys. That is me. All right, there's our butterflies. What do you think? Pretty fast and easy, huh? I also pre-colored one for the ins. Oh, no, I didn't. Let me do the inside one right away. I didn't pre-color that. I'm not sure. Oh, my goodness, guys. I totally messed up on this card. Totally and completely. Isn't that beautiful? It is beautiful, but that's not what I wanted to do at all. I meant to color this one. So we're going to switch this up. I'm going to color two more. I'm going to stamp two more butterflies. See, you can fix anything. This is going nowhere. I will definitely use this on another card. It is gorgeous. And we won't have an inside piece for this one, but I'll show you what I did on my sample and you'll see it. See, sometimes my brain gets way ahead of what I'm doing and we can fix it. Okay, another butterfly right there. We'll do one more down on this side. So now we have our three butterflies. We're gonna do this project. The first thing I wanna do is cut some pieces out of here because we are spotlighting. We don't want that whole image. And now I'll have the whole image one to show you and compare. So that is okay. Let's fix this. So we're gonna take these butterflies and they just barely fit on here. So if I'm cutting to this side, I need to move the plates all the way over. If I'm cutting to this side on my mini emboss, I need to move the plates way over, but that's okay. It works. So the size of this white piece, I did the same for the inside and for the front, and it's 2 3/4 by 5. And that is about the largest width that you can get through your cut and emboss machine. So we're gonna cut out 3 different sections of these butterflies. And I think I'm gonna start down here with this one, just like that. That one's gonna be kind of in the middle of that butterfly. I'm gonna run this through. Again, this is the smallest square die from the Stylish Shapes dies. And it ends up being about 1 1/16 wide and tall. Okay, we're gonna do another one. Boy, talk about do as I say and not as I do, huh? I'm sure you guys have never made a mistake like that. And if you haven't, praise God, because yeah, I do all the time. Okay, I'm gonna cut another portion out of this butterfly, but at a little bit different angle and a little different section of it. So let's do this one at the top. And then we'll come and figure out what we want on that middle one. Hope you're having a great day. I know everyone has said that, but that is really our wish for you. So this is my bottom butterfly. I'm gonna put it down here at the bottom. It'll just make it a little easier when we put this back together. This is my top one, so I'm gonna put it up here toward the top. And then this one, I think I'm going to cut out, kind of want it cattywampus to the others. Let's see. You just gotta play with this and see what you want to get out of your card. I think that might be just fine. So we love it if you're having a good day, and we love it that you're with us here today. Creativity is such a fun thing, and sharing with you is such a blessing for us that we are just thankful you are here. Cutting out that third square. And because that's my middle butterfly, I'm going to place that piece in the middle. And hopefully I can keep those straight. It, just like I said, it's like a puzzle. So if you keep them in line at the beginning, it's much easier. Here's my little die. I'm going to put it in my magnetic bowl so I don't lose it. And then I cut out 3 squares of basic black. And these squares are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, which makes them just a little bit larger than the pieces we cut out, okay? So we're gonna add these to these black squares. Now, you can use dies, you can use punches. I'm gonna show you a bunch of alternatives you can use. You just need something that is 2 layers that will layer on top of each other, 2 sizes. So starting with my top one here to keep them in order, I am just gonna add some seal to the back of this and add it to my square. Now, if anyone is shouting color, 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 because I do need to color these, don't worry, we are going to color them. I've found that coloring them once they're on the larger square just makes them a little bit easier to handle. And because that square is black, it doesn't really show with my blends if any of it happens to go off the edge. So that was fun coloring those butterflies though, guys. I guess I really do love butterflies, right? Okay, so that's my bottom one. Now we're gonna color them. Let's try that one more time. We're gonna start out with our light peach pie. I'm gonna use the brush edge. You're gonna get to see more coloring than you had hoped for today, but that's okay. Butterfly, butterfly. Honestly, when I am stressed for any reason, I hit my craft room, and my two go-tos are coloring. I'm going to do the middle one now, and fussy cutting, believe it or not. Those are my two go-tos when I am making cards. So if I'm stressed right now, you'd never know it because I get to color, right? All right, there is my light peach pie. You just want to make sure you're coloring every part of it that is the butterfly. And then this is my bottom one. And again, if a little bit when I'm going off the edge here gets on that black, you don't even see it, which is what makes this so great, a great way to color. And it makes this piece just a little bit larger for me to work with and hang on to as I'm coloring. So these are our actual spotlight pieces. Then the next thing I'm going to do is exactly what I did before. I'm going to come in here, not with that end. So you guys saw earlier when Diane was coloring her ribbon and she says she uses her blends. This is my well-loved pumpkin pie blend end. I hope you can see that on here because for some reason I am not on my screen, guys. I hope I am still. The way my day's going, I hope I am still live. Let me come back up here and see that it brings me up. I don't know why my computer just shut down. This is my well-loved pumpkin pie end. I use it on everything, and I've colored lots and lots of ribbon with it. So yeah, it looks like my PC is trying to back me up right now, and everything shut down. I am going to go with it like I'm there, and if I'm not, I'll come back on and do this later. So it is well loved, but I don't really color with that end anymore, just on my ribbon and gems. So I'm going to take the bullet point like we did on the last card and just come in here along that body. On the top one, I'm probably not doing this as well as I did the first time because I want to get through this. And the middle one, but I don't want to rush you either. I want you to see what I'm doing. So that's why I wanted to be sure I showed this. So we are actually, again, just spotlighting this part of the body of the butterfly. And that's why I'm only coloring that section. Here is my light pumpkin pie. I will use this one because I grabbed it. It could be the dark peach. They're very similar in color and tone. And I'm just blending those colors together. Top one looks a little bit like a monarch, but not as fussy in the coloring as you'd have to be if you really were making it look like a monarch. We're getting the illusion of a monarch butterfly. How about that? All right. We have beautiful weather here today. It's a little cooler than it was a week or so ago. Only in the upper 50s, low 60s, but beautiful. And our flowers are blossoming. Spring has definitely sprung here. All right, much better. Here's our place. This is our pieces. We are good to go. So the next thing I'm going to do before I put this all together is I am going to stamp just a hello sentiment onto this front piece right here using the memento. And this hello is from that same beautiful butterfly set. And I'm going to stamp this down in this corner. You'll see when I show you the prototype I made, it was the other corner, but that was because I didn't mess up on my butterfly layer. So, yeah, no, live and learn. Okay, let's put this together, guys, and you'll see what this spotlighting technique is all about. So for our card today, whoops, almost just lost an important part. We are making an easel card, a simple easel card. This is a piece of peach pie. It is 4 1/4 by 11 inches long. It is scored at, from this side, 2 3/4, and then again at 5 1/2. Okay, So that is giving us our base. I'm going to use my bone folder. We're going to fold at that 5 1/2 crease. And then again at that 2 3/4. Now you've probably made easel cards. They are fun and easy and give a lot of impact, and I love the way they stand up on your desk when you're using them. We're going to add a basic black layer to this. So I am just centering this onto the front of my card as it would lay if I were gluing it down. I'm going to adhere it though just below that crease, okay? So I'm going to use my seal and come in here, and we're just going to go on the bottom portion of this instead of all the way on the top of here. I'm going to turn this around a little bit. So now when I lay this onto my card front again, like this, try to get it pretty straight for you. This bottom part should be the only part adhered, and that can cause your card to stand up. Now, because I messed up on my inside piece, we're not going to finish this all the way to the stand-up portion, but I will show you it on my next card, and you'll know. You guys are crafters. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, let's grab this next piece. And this is a very, very simple spotlighting, like I said. You could use punches. If you had 2 punches that were just one slightly bigger than the other in the same exact shape, you could use those in lieu of dies. You just have to remember with punches, you can only punch in so far. So like with this one, I can do a die almost right in the middle of the card. A punch might not get you that far in, but you certainly can spotlight with punches if you don't have dies. We're going to place this here onto the center of that black layer. And this is getting glued down to the whole thing because that black layer is what is going to allow it to pop up like that. And then we're going to do our spotlighting. Super, super simple. We're going to take our first top image, and all we're going to do is adhere it, lining up our image so that it looks continuous, and like this part is spotlighted, but this part is still black and white. And it's super simple, especially if you keep them in order and you have a design that's not too crazy complicated. So I'm going to lay this on here. I'm going to match up the butterfly's wing, and take just a second with this before you push it down on your card, and the butterfly's body and the bottom of that wing, anywhere where the image is going off of the square. And then I'm going to give it firm pressure. We'll do our middle one next. And this can look like a complicated technique to people that get it and they wonder, hey, how did you do that? But it's so simple. It really is so simple. So let's do the same thing. I'm matching up that butterfly line, the top of my butterfly's body, where the antenna are. Take just a minute. As long as you're not pushing down hard on that seal, it's going to be fine. And now I'm going to push it down. So there's our second butterfly, and then we'll do our third piece. Okay, and then before I show you the other one with the easel, I'm going to add some bling to this just so it's kind of finished off for us, and then I'll be able to do a new insert for it later and use it. So again, lining up. Now on here, I did see I made a mistake. I was going too fast. I shouldn't have colored in this little piece of white here. That was the part between the wings. What I'm going to do is bring in my color lifter. The color lifter is great for blends. It only works for blends, not for markers, but it'll help you pick up some color that you didn't maybe want on there. And look how, I think you can probably see it's already removing it. To get it completely off, this is a light color, so it worked great. Actually, I think it took it completely off already, that color on there. Now, if I had used the dark pumpkin pie there, it may have taken several more times for me to actually get that off of there. But yeah, just play with it. I'm going to blend my color a little bit more, and you can do this after. If you think it's not blending as much as you like, I'm coming back in with that light peach pie. and just adding a little bit more, dragging that color out. Just a little bit more, and we'll let it set, and we'll see how it is in a minute. When I'm using blends, I play with them and play with them and play with them until I get it the way I want it. So, but there is no right or wrong, guys. No right or wrong. All right. Oh, I think they're beautiful. Okay, so on an easel card, what I would have done is finish the inside, pop this up, put this circle on here, and it would have sat against it. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean right after I put some embellishments on here. So here are the embellishments I've chosen to use today. They are our Sparkle Gems from the annual catalog. They come in silver, gold, and black. And I am going to add some black ones to this card. And I think I'm going to add 5 of them, which is more than I usually do. But I kind of like that movement feel of the butterflies going up the card. So I'm going to try to continue that a little bit with our gems. We're going to place one down here, a large one. And then I think one more large one kind of up here toward the center. I don't want them too far out. I want, like I said, I want to keep that center movement on here. And then I'm going to do another large one, which I love small gems, and I don't always use my large ones, but on here, I think this is going to work perfect. We'll come over here, kind of off of that peak there. And then at the very top, I'm going to put 2 smaller ones, like they're getting large to small as they go up and fly away from you. So we'll do one here, and then one more off in this direction. So that is my bling, and I think it just gives it all of that movement of the butterflies as they go up and kind of off screen per se. So I hope you like that look of spotlighting. Let me show you, I also did the envelope for this one. If I can get my little gems put away. And this is just a basic white envelope, and I colored my butterflies and stamped them. One tip about alcohol markers is they do soak through. So when you are coloring anything on an envelope and you don't use something in between it, it is going to soak through on the back of your white envelope. So in that case, I just placed some double layer of scrap paper in the middle, did my coloring just like on those, and finished off my beautiful envelope. And I love it. I think it is gorgeous. Okay, so for my prototype, I was using dies. I was actually using the Stylish dies, and I pulled out 2 circles, and I made this card right here. So you can see it is basically the same card. Now on these dies though, the gap between the larger and the smaller is pretty big. There's nothing in between there. And it covered up a lot of my white butterfly, way more than I wanted it to. So on this one, I like how it looked, but I was trying to go with something that would be simpler and a little bit less of a layer, which is how I came up with doing the squares on here. Now, if you don't have these dies, you could actually just cut your squares. So your white, where you stamped this, could be cut out too. It's just that it's toward the middle of the card, so you'd have to kind of make a gap. It would be a little hard to get in there, but you could probably do it with the snips if you didn't have them. But I like the look, and actually those little dots around the edge of that die just kind of continue that little dotty feel of the butterflies. So this was my prototype. Here's the inside, which is what the inside would have looked like on this card had I done it right. And then I took my little circle down here, and I don't know if you can see it, so you might have to trust me, but it's popped up on one dimensional. And that way, when I do my card and the recipient gets it, they can stand it up on their desk and it'll look just like this. And I love that. I think that is just a great look, a great way to display. It gives you plenty of room above that point to write your message on here. So yeah, that was my prototype for this. And then I'm going to leave that one here. I have a couple more to show you. So first I wanted to show you some of the other dies we have that might work for this technique. We have the Everyday Arches, which is an online exclusive, an amazing die set. The Spotlight on Nature circle dies, the Perennial Postage dies, the Nested Essentials dies, and the meant to be hexagon dies. All of these would work because they all allow you to have 2 layers of whatever shape you want to have. So I haven't played with all of those, but they would work. But I did play with a couple other things. So let me show you my first card here. This one uses the all around it die, around all kind of squiggly shapes. And I wasn't sure how it would work since the shapes wouldn't line up exactly. But let me show you the card. I love how it turned out. Here's the card I made. It uses the Hearts and Hugs stamp set and this little walrus image here. And I cut out the smaller circle and colored it, and then left the image on the outside not colored, placed it on one of the black layers, and I think it turned out just great. So that is another die set and another card idea of how you could do it. So on this one, I just spotlighted one portion rather than 3, like on the butterflies. And then another sample I made was this sample right here. This sample uses paper. I thought I left it out, but it's paper I put away. Here it is. This uses the designer series paper called Serene Love. And when I looked it up yesterday, it's still available. It's on the last chance list. It's now $8.75 a pack, which is an amazing deal. And what I did is just took a whole layer of the Serene Love. Okay, so this whole layer was just 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it layered perfectly onto my Night of Navy cardstock. And then I took the die and cut out this image here with Night of Navy. I laid it on my card and took a pencil and just drew the area I wanted to color inside of. Before I placed this on here permanently, I just laid it there, okay? Then I colored within that line. Everything that was within that line, I colored using my blends, and to even make it even more of a spotlighting, I used some Wink of Stella just on that middle flower. So this whole thing is spotlighted, but that draws your attention to those flowers in the middle there. Then after I did that, I erased my pencil lines, laid my little border down, and I did another spotlighting. So added my sentiment. So this is just spotlighting a section of that designer series paper. And I think it turned out great. I think it's really, really pretty. But then when I did that, when I cut this out, I had an outside section of blue and an inside section of blue. So I thought, well, why not try to spotlight with that? I hate to waste anything, you guys. I really do. So I made another card. And for this one, I used the designer series paper again. I put the outside piece that I had cut off here over the edge of it, leaving just some of that design showing. I took the inside piece and punched a 2-inch circle out of the middle of it, used my pencil once again to draw my pencil line, colored in my flowers, and on this one, because I had a little more border, I went just outside of my pencil lines so that as you tip it, it still looks colored pretty much. Erased my pencil lines, popped this section up. So this again was the section from the middle of this die here. Popped it up over the part I had colored, added a bow, added a sentiment, and it's all done. So another way of spotlighting. And again, this used the Wildflower Designs dies. And the way I did it, I didn't even need to, because this die, 2 layers that matched, because this die cuts out both sides of it. So it worked just perfect. So I hope that all makes sense to you. I hope you've learned a couple things. I hope you try this out. It is a fun technique. So I'm gonna just one more time show you my alternatives right here, so you can see those. And then I'm going to take them out and put my information and the original card back on so that you can see it while I finish up talking here. Take a screenshot if you like, so you have the information. That would be perfect. Here's that gorgeous envelope that goes with it. I am so happy you took some time out of your day today to be with me. I appreciate it so much. I know your time is precious. I hope I inspired you in some way, like I said, to try this technique. If you do, please share. If you missed any of the presentations, you can always watch them later. They will remain here on this site for 30 days. That is a new Facebook rule that live videos get deleted after 30 days. But we are also all uploading our videos to YouTube. And when we finish the album, which will be done in 2 days, and when we finish the PDF that's going out, those links for YouTube will be in there, so you can always go watch it there if it's after the 30 days. There will also be a post with all of our direct links pinned to the top of this page for the time being, so that should help you find the videos that you want. If you have any questions on any of our projects, feel free to contact the demonstrator who invited you to this event. Our presentations are a thank you for all of you for being loyal customers and our team members. We appreciate you so much. We are offering a show special, so if you place an order with your demonstrator using their host code by March 30th, we will send you a PDF project sheet of all of our main projects, which should give you a ton of ideas for your future use. Thanks for being with us, guys, and until we see you again, happy crafting. Bye-bye.